I'd like to tell you a little story. And in the spirit of full transparency, I feel obliged to tell you that I, the soothing voice that you hear, am not one of the two travelers we'll be following throughout this journey. I was supposed to go with them, but I felt that my presence would have degraded the integrity of the film, and therefore spare you all having to look at me. Instead, they've graciously asked me to narrate this film. Anyway, back to the story. Winter is tough in Buffalo. It's dark, cold, and dreary, and it can seem like it lasts for years. And it's easy to get bored and restless, to start to feel the walls slowly closing in on you. So, a few years back, Brandon and Josh decided to take a trip to Iceland in February. For photographers, Iceland had become a pilgrimage of sorts. Its natural beauty, waterfalls, rugged terrain, and majestic mountains are a shutterbug's dream. On that trip, they had also teamed up with Scott Pierce, a friend of a friend, who happened to be in Iceland at the same time. To make a long story short, the three of them wandered into a public toilet turned punk museum, met a wily old punk rocker, and decided to go back the next year to learn more about his story. As interesting as all that is, it's a story for another time. What you need to know is that Brandon and Josh had made plans to return to Iceland the following year. That is, until this happened.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Businesses closed. Flights were canceled. Borders shut down. Life as we knew it came to a screeching halt. We all slowly adapted to the new normal. Many of us working from home, forbidden from gathering socially, and forced to reconcile with a new daily routine of uncertainty. The walls sometimes felt like they were literally closing in. Now, I feel like I should comment here to say that we were extremely fortunate to have jobs that allowed us to work from home and have safe and healthy homes to work from. Others weren't as lucky. So, when February approached this year, Iceland was still closed to travelers, and in addition to the cabin fever so familiar with most Northeasterners come the spring, Brandon and Josh decided they needed to get out and do something new and different. And that something was to jump in the car and drive. This might be a good spot to introduce you to our travelers. Josh, a high school teacher in Queens, New York, suddenly found himself in the unfamiliar digital realm of interacting with his students through a computer screen, each day feeling more disconnected from the classroom and the world. Brandon, a filmmaker in Buffalo, similarly feeling isolated from the outside world, wrestled with an increasing urge to get the fuck out. With the outside world shuttered, and a routine settling in that, needless to say, was taking a mental toll on everyone stuck at home. the two decided to take a road trip. They had targeted the fall, but when the pandemic spiked in New York and Brandon suddenly fell ill with the virus, hopes for a road trip were dashed. That is, until February came around. Determined to break out of the drain and exhaustion became a staying at home for months on end, Brandon and Josh sat down to decide where they would venture to. With Josh having limited time off from work, the West Coast was too far. COVID waves began popping up throughout the South, so Mississippi Delta was off the table. So the question was, how far west could they go and get back in 10 days? Answer: Duluth, Minnesota. But that, my friends, is only where the story begins. To wet your whistle, I want to leave you with a short preview of things to come. Until next time, as the sage Steven Tyler once sang, it's about the journey, not the destination. Let's hit the road. As human beings, we are creatures of routine. Without it, everything would just be chaos. But the day in, day out, our everyday lives. That brings us stability, comfort, contentment. That also slowly kills us, little by little. Henry David Thoreau wrote that most men lead lives of quiet desperation. But until you live day in, day out, you can't really appreciate what that means. Every once in a while, we need to break out. Do something different. Wild, unplanned. We need to see new places, meet new people, hear new stories. And feel like, at least for a moment, that we were meant for something more than this. Sometimes, we just need to get in the car and drive.